Today's episode of the Black Girl Nerds podcast is brought to you in part by Flatiron School is an outcomes-focused coding boot camp offering the best in online web development education. Lean on instructors for professional support and move at your own pace through their proven curriculum alongside a thriving community of students that are finding their purpose through programming. You can learn to code online, but not alone. And Flatiron offers a job guarantee and comprehensive career coaching. Over 98% of graduates accept job offers within 180 days of graduating. If you're listening right now, you can have access to their boot camp prep course plus $500 off of your first month's tuition. The online boot camp prep course is absolutely free, and you can go to their website. Visit flatironschoolnerds.com. That's flatironschoolnerds.com. Start your free course and take advantage of this discount. Learn, love, code. Welcome to our new podcast, Misty Nights Uninformed Afro. The new podcast series will dive into the origin stories, character development, and story arcs of our favorite Black superheroines and characters in comics. These are the obscure stories you don't always hear about, and we share commentary on some of our favorite moments in comics. We're going into deep discussions about Storm, Misty Knight, Monica Rambeau, Vixen, Amanda Waller, Riri Williams, Lunella Lafayette, and the Dora Milaje. The series has two hosts, founder and managing editor of BlackGirlNerds.com and host of the BGN podcast, yours truly, Jamie Broadnax. And Stephanie Williams, host of The Lemonade Show. Each episode will reference comic book issues, dates, and creators. That way you can go back and check out the stories for yourself. By the end of the series, you will become a certified expert in the fictional world of Black superheroines. Please subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. See you soon.
Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Victor.
And this is Megashine. Megashine is a queer, people of color weekly podcast, and we talk about anything from drag to comics to video games to
boys
and anything else in between. So if you want to listen to us, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, and you can follow us on Megashine Pod and Megashine on Twitter.
That's right. So follow us, talk to us. We'll be here.
And we out.
Shannon, CG, Lauren, and Mel form the Nerds of Prey. A group of ladies bonded by comics, gaming, film, television, and fandom culture. Hang out with them bi-weekly as they dig into the very things that make them loud and proud nerds. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. Also, check out their Patreon at patreon.com/Nerds of Prey.
Hey, this is Steph Farwell. Join me bi-weekly at The Lemonade for all things nerdy and geeky, giving you all the sweet and sour notes from the nerd world, as well as my own special commentary to make this blended lemonade just right. Follow The Lemonade at Audio Boom, SoundCloud, Podbean, at the Points of Interest Network, and I'll see you guys soon.
Peace, y'all. What's up? This is Akil, the MC from the Jurassic 5, and you are now tuned in to Black Girl Nerds Podcast. Yeah, I like nerdy girls.
Hey, everybody. My name's Adina Porter. I get to play Pearly May in the WGN's Underground, and I'm also on The 100 on the CW, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Amanda Seals, comedian, writer, and creator of Get Your Life, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. Khaleesi!
Hi, I'm Andre Meadows. I have a YouTube channel, Black Nerd Comedy. Have you heard of it? Don't matter, because you are listening to the Black Girl Nerds Podcast, the best podcast in the whole world that I'm doing a promo for right now. Boom! That's true.
Hi, this is Kimberly Abear Gregory, and you are listening to the Black Girl Nerd Podcast.
Hey, this is Jules Smith, creator of Afrocentric the Comic, and you're listening to Black Girl Nerds.
Hey everybody, this is Gary Anthony Williams, a.k.a. Uncle Rocker. This is the Uncle Rocker. Alright, now I'm starring as Bebop and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of the shadows. And you is listening to the Black Girl Nerd Podcast. Why the hell they let black women have a podcast? I will never know.
Holla boys and girls, it's the BGN. Coming from the Marvel world to the DC friends. All the way from Hollywood to the PCN. She defends everyone from sleazy men. Won't apologize for spitting Shonda rhymes. The space that we make is never colonized. Talking games and movies and actors. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Yeah, better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.
Thanks for tuning into episode 105 of the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. My name is Jamie, and I am your host. This episode is titled Iron Fist, Kong Skull Island, and TV1's Media. 3 segments. In our first segment, we invite actor Lewis Tan, the real Iron Fist. He talks to us about the new Netflix series show that's coming up, and he's playing the role of Zhu Chang. And this is an interview featuring yours truly, KB, Caron, and Joy. In our second segment, we invite actor Jason Mitchell. Kong Skull Island is the new movie that is coming out, premiering very soon, and he plays the role of Glenn Mill. This is a one-on-one interview with Caron. In our final segment, Caron joins us once again on a one-on-one interview with 3 of the cast members from TV1's new show called Media, featuring actresses Penny Johnson Jerald, Chrystee Pharris, and Jillian Reeves. So that's our show, fully packed, filled with talented actors and entertainers who we hope to see more on the big and small screens coming soon. If you have not done so already, please give us a rating on iTunes and leave a review, and share us on all of our different platforms on podcast streaming apps. That includes Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Spotify, and Spreaker. Thanks again for tuning in to episode 105, Iron Fist, Kong Skull Island, and TV1's Media. Enjoy! Lewis Tan is an actor with a strong background in martial arts and stunts. He's performed action scenes for movies such as Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End, and The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Currently, you can see him starring as Zhu Chang in the Netflix Marvel series Iron Fist. Thank you so much for tuning into this special segment of the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. My name is Jamie. I am your host. Very excited, guys, for this guest because, look, we are looking forward to seeing this man on our TV sets when the Netflix series Iron Fist premieres in March on St. Patrick's Day. And we are very excited to have none other than Lewis Tan here on the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. Thank you, Lewis, so much for coming on.
Black Girl Nerds, what's good? So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and we have our special co-hosts, Caron, Joy, and KB. Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
So, Louis, I mean, we are pleased to have you here because for a lot of us, obviously, you are the reason why we plan to check out Netflix's Iron Fist. I just want you to know that. You are the sole reason. You and Jessica Henwick. And if you guys follow at the Louis Tan on Twitter, you will see these amazing training videos of him prepping for his role. And it's under the Can't Be Faked hashtag, which I love. So I want you to talk about that too. But my first question is, how did you get started in martial arts and what led you to being a part of this Netflix series?
Well, first off, before I answer that, let me just say this. I have had the best time ever on Twitter because of you guys and because of the fans. I swear, like, I'm laughing every day to myself, and I can't respond to everything, but I see it all, and it really does make my day. Like, it's a joy for me to go on Twitter and read it. And I think for some people, they probably get stressed, but not me. I'm like, because of you guys, it like makes my day. So thank you so much. I love you guys.
We love you too. Yeah.
Martial arts, it's been in my family for years. You know, my father was a martial artist. He was a national title winner. So, you know, he was teaching me martial arts when I was just a kid. So we would kind of use it as bonding time, you know. So he didn't have such a great upbringing, and you know, me and him. So he didn't really know how to kind of, you know, connect with me because I'm the first of three boys. So I have three younger brothers. And so I was the first one, the experiment child. And but he kind of used that time to bond and connect with me. So that's kind of how I started to get into martial arts. And then once I kind of got more like fell in love with martial arts on my own, then I started exploring different avenues and different styles. And now it's a huge part of my life.
That's fantastic. What led you to being a part of the Iron Fist series?
Well, I heard about the Iron Fist before it was being cast, you know, and I was really excited because I felt like the role, you know, I mean, that role was just screaming my name. So I was just like focused on, I'm talking about the lead role, Danny's.
Of course. What other role would there be? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, like everybody else was. I think that some people kind of got it misconstrued, but you know, the title role is the role that they usually cast first. So, you know, all the other roles kind of come after that. So that was the only role that was on the table at the time. And I was very, very focused on doing the best possible job and representing Danny in a way that I thought could be new and fresh. And then obviously bringing my own skill set to it. So, so I read for the role, and I think everybody kind of knows the story. And it was a longer process, a few months process, and I got down to where they start talking about scheduling. So, you know, whatever you want to call that. But down to the wire. And it didn't go my way. They kept it true to kind of how they had it in the comic book, which I understand. I was hoping that they would mix it up, but it didn't happen. So, you know, when they presented the role for Zhu Chang to me, the character was so interesting that I couldn't turn it down. Really, I mean, I wish I could tell you guys more detail about the character, but from the comic book, you already know he's a dragon. Mm-hmm. He's been killing Iron Fist for a long time. He's kind of like an old, like kind of spirit in a way. Like it's a very interesting character to play. And there's this image in the comic book of him staring in the mirror, and this dragon is in the mirror, and it's like his reflection, and he's saying, "Yes, master." And I looked at it and I was like, "This is trippy." Like I think I can bring something really, really dope to this role. So, and I did. So yeah, I hope that everybody likes it.
I look forward to seeing your appearance in Iron Fist. And in addition to your work in Iron Fist, I see that you are involved in some other works outside of making movies, but you are still tuned to the film industry, because I recently saw you on Twitter pose in a photo with filmmaker Lexi Alexander. And and you published like kind of a cryptic tweet stating big things are coming. So can you tell us a little bit about what that was all about?
Yeah, well, Lexi's a beast. I mean, Lexi's amazing.
Yeah.
She's an amazing person. You guys kind of connected that whole thing. I don't know if you guys know that, but yeah, you guys kind of were the ones that were throwing that out there. And actually, I'd never heard of Lexi, and somebody, put me onto her on Twitter, and I started being like, oh my God, like I know all her work, and I have no idea why I haven't heard her name before, but there's a ton of people out there in the business. And then it turns out she's actually a martial artist herself. We have the same, some of the same senseis, because when I was competing in kickboxing, my sensei was P.D. Cunningham. And so, I told her that at over lunch, and she was like, what? You better text him right now. So I'm like texting him, and we find out that we have all these crazy connections. And we just hit it off. But the reason why we met is because, well, we're both advocates for the same type of causes. And I think it's incredible. I think she's an incredible director, period. And the fact that she's a woman, an ethnic woman on top of that, I'm just like, I'm all in, like, what are you doing? And she was like, what are you doing? So me and her, I had a project that I've been working on and preparing that I'll be able to share with you guys probably around the end of March. And Lexi and I are in talks about making a collaboration happen. So, I don't want to say if anything's confirmed yet, but I tell you what, we're good friends, and we had a great meeting. So let's see. I'm hoping that it does come together. And if it does, you guys get to take credit for that. Cause seriously, someone I think I probably had 200 tweets that day trying to get me and Lexi to meet or to collaborate. So that's how that happened.
That's awesome, because Lexi is such a huge advocate on social media, and I see you very connected on social media. And I was curious to know as well, what were your thoughts about hashtags like the white washed out hashtag, and most recently the thank you Matt Damon hashtag that the Asian American community has rallied for, to try to say very loudly and very proudly, look, we need to be represented in media, and our voices are marginalized and need to be heard. So I was just curious to know what your thoughts were about using social media as a tool for representation and diversity.
Yeah, well, I think you said it. I mean, I think you nailed it right there. I mean, social media could be kind of a destructive thing, and it could kind of pull people apart in this weird way, that everyone's experiencing. This is new for everybody. I mean, this didn't happen before, and life has changed because of social media or the way we communicate. And I think that what it has done is been able to empower people and show so many people that, look, we all kind of agree. Everyone was kind of thinking this, but now we can say it. And I can hear from all these people across the world, in an hour. And it's just crazy to me. The way the information is flowing is just crazy to me. And so, yeah, what it's done is kind of open up a conversation for everybody that feels unrepresented, or that feels like, they're not deserving of being the love interest or the leading role or this and that. And it happens to be a lot of the Asian American community, a lot of the Black community, a lot of the Hispanic community, a lot of the Indian community, a lot of women. And it's kind of like we're all feeling the same thing. We're all in the same kind of boat. And, if you guys, it's crazy that you guys rep for us and we'll rep for you. And we all start repping for each other. And it's just that unity is so powerful. And to see it and to read about it, I mean, it's just very inspiring to me. And I think it's one of the most beautiful things that's came about because of social media, in my opinion.
It's beautiful. KB?
Wow. Yeah. So KB here. So just to go back a little bit, you talked some about your role as Zhu Cheng in Iron Fist, but I have a question for you. So were you always interested in the comics? Did you read them prior to getting this role? And what do you think fans will be surprised by in this version that you're bringing to life?
No, I had not read the comic book until I heard about Iron Fist the first time around. Then I bought the book. So I actually bought the Immortal Iron Fist comic book. It's like a giant, it's like 2 giant books. Yep. I thought that was the entire thing. Somebody checked me the other day because I was like, I read the entire thing, and they're like, that's impossible. And they start rapping off all these different. Oh shoot, because I didn't read the whole thing. I only read the Immortal Iron Fist, so that's all I know. But even that, the storyline is dope. The storyline is crazy. There's an Asian Iron Fist, and he's in like Western times.
Yep.
There's all this craziness in it, and no, I thought it was amazing. What was your question again? I got off on it.
No, that's okay. I said, so, like, what kind of twist do you bring to the character? What do you think fans will be surprised by in this version that you're bringing to life?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think whenever you see him on screen, he really stands out. He has a lot of very dark and kind of comedic and interesting characteristics about him. I can't give it away due to legal purposes, or else I just would, because I don't care. But I guarantee at least like he better not say anything. So, I think like I said, when I read the role and the description and the breakdown, and I looked through the comic books, I was like, man, there's so much I can do with this character, because I'm used to playing, gangsters and, villains on all sorts of different shows, on every freaking CSI there ever was in every state. It's like, and so I get this character and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this guy to make him different? What am I going to do with this guy to make him interesting? Maybe it's something with my body language, maybe a different voice, maybe, some weird kind of like a character quirk that I can think of to make him interesting, to kind of bring him to life. But with Zhao, it was all laid out in front of me. I had like 6 things to do. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So, I think people are going to be pretty stoked on it. And then I'm fighting myself and doing my own action.
Wow.
And, I think I put a lot of work into it. I was going home every day and just knocking out. I wouldn't even have dinner sometimes. I would just sleep sleep and go back to set, because if I'm not training, I was filming. So it's like filming, training. And that was my first time working in New York.
Wow. Okay. So, you spoke a little bit about your father's influence just on you in terms of martial arts and stunts. So, were you able to bring him to set to see you kind of do some of those things? And also, how did you transition into acting?
That's a great question. These are all great questions, actually. Well, no, my father couldn't make it because he was working. So if you guys don't know, right, we originally came to America from England, where I was born in England. Came to America. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Came to England for Batman, for the Tim Burton Batman. So my dad was doing the action work on that show, and then he's been kind of working and doing different films. He's worked with Christopher Nolan. He's worked with Spielberg. He's worked with everybody. So, I've been living and seeing this since I was a kid. So that's kind of how that came about. So my dad was working when I was filming, unfortunately. We did try to get him out there because he's friends with a lot of the action team, Hits International Action Team, bunch of kick-ass guys led by this dude, Brett Chan. And they beat my ass every day and trained me. So yeah, they tried to get my dad to come out for a bit, but he didn't get to make it.
Wow. So was that natural progression? I think like you basically grew up on sets then, really. So like, is that how you made the transition into acting?
Yeah. Well, first off, when you're there and you're in, like, I was literally sitting next to Steven Spielberg on Indiana Jones Temple of Doom when I was a kid, right? Wow. So like, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who he was. He was just some dude to me. You know what I mean? And yeah, right.
That's
and
true.
You look
Kids never know.
Yeah, you don't know. You're just like, whatever. Like, get out of my chair. And you're like, hey, that's the director. You're like, who? So anyway, you're on this set, and it's like a fantasy world. You couldn't imagine a better type of way to, like, kids go to Disneyland, but this is way better than Disneyland. You know what I mean? So. For me, growing up, it was exciting to be around that energy, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or how I wanted to involve myself in it, but I knew I had to be there. I knew I wanted to travel, tell stories, make movies, and honestly, it kind of all came at once. I was acting before I was doing stunts, but then I got some opportunities to go work on some big films like Pirates of the Caribbean, and they were like, "You want to go to the Bahamas to work?" And I kind of wanted to stay in and study acting. And but my dad was like, look, this is film school. He's like, go there, learn from Gore Verbinski, learn from Johnny Depp. He's like, go there and just and be on the action team and study them. And so I did. And then that's kind of how I started into stunt work. And then eventually I just kind of said, all right, I've had enough of that, and I'm gonna go, 10,000% into the acting game. So started doing plays, John Patrick Shanley, you know what I mean? Just doing like, theater, like pretty much all sorts of theater, Tennessee Williams, all that stuff. Yeah, just really fell in love with it.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, hi, it's Joy. I had a
Joy?
question more about the fighting style. So, obviously, I too, like Jamie, love the can't be fake hashtag personally. So, obviously, you talked about bonding with your dad on martial arts. Was there any additional types or kinds of martial arts that you had to learn to prepare for Iron Fist, or was this just prior knowledge that you've been pretty much doing since you were a kid?
No, I think it helped when I was originally being considered for Danny. I think it helped that they knew I did martial arts. I think it helped a lot. I think it helped a lot when I was being considered for Zhao that I did martial arts. Now, Zhao's style of fighting is a completely different style that I've never done before. It's completely new to me. It's something different that you don't see a lot on screen. So, yeah, I had to learn a whole new style. So, like I said, the Hits International team, Brett Chan, he's like the big boss of that team. He flew me out and they trained me every day. And Jess would be in there training with us too. She's a badass. She was like bleeding and sweating. And I think you see on her Instagram, she posts pictures of her like all bruised up. Well, that's real. I mean, she was in there grinding. So yeah, I was in there with them and they were beating my ass every day, trying to teach me a new style that is a little difficult for me because I'm 6'2", 180 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm not, like I'm flexible and I'm fast, but I'm not like a lot of these guys. They're all from China, like they're like a Chinese team from China. They've been training since they were like 3 years old in these specific styles, and they were trying to make me do all these crazy like back bends and stuff, and I'm like, I was going home twisted up. But it's a new style, but I can't say what it is because I'd rather have fans be surprised. And they'll know in the first scene or two. They'll be like, "Oh shit."
I highly doubt that. I really doubt that. So let's pivot a little bit more into the acting side. So obviously, last year was not the most stellar year for AAPI people in regards to representation with the issues in Ghost in the Shell, which I believe you've tweeted about in the past. The snafu with Doctor Strange, and even kind of the outcry to have an Asian American Iron Fist. So what do you hope, since it's a new year now, what do you hope will come this year in terms of advancement of Asian American and Pacific Islander people in film?
Well, like I was saying, like I grew up around this, so I've seen it come from the smallest level, and obviously it was happening before I was even born. You know what I mean? The story goes way back to Bruce Lee and even before him. But I've seen my dad struggle. So I saw my dad struggle through his career, and he's a great actor as well. He was in Lethal Weapon 4, all these films. I mean, he's always playing, the roles that at the time, that was all we were getting. That was all that was being offered to us, were these, one-off gangster roles or one-off villain roles or fifth best friend roles. Like that's just what we were getting offered. So we take what we got, But yeah, I mean, it hurts to see these type of things happen and these type of castings happen. But at the same time, I do understand, because I've lived this already since a kid. It's a business, and there's a lot of different levels to go through in order to make these things happen. Now, having said that, because of you guys, I swear, I'm not even like, I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but because of you guys, because of fans, because of social media, because people are speaking out, people are starting to listen. Like I'm getting calls from studios, from producers offering me stuff that, they might not have offered me if this was a few years ago and no one was saying anything about it, So I think that the fact that people are being vocal, and we need to keep being vocal, is super important. And and your voice will be heard eventually, but it takes a while because it's got to trickle all the way down or all the way up to the studios and to the writers, to the showrunners. These people have to start writing roles for us. Mm-hmm. But in order for them to write the role, they have to see it, right? Like you can't you can't write something that you've never even seen or thought of. Like you have to start seeing these things in your head, like seeing these people perform in great performances. So there's kind of like a catch-22. But the more you talk about it, I think the more the wall's going to come down, And that's one of my goals in my career is to help that in any way I can. So that's why I'm vocal about it, and that's why I'll talk about it forever. I'll talk about it now. I'll talk about it, when I'm making $100 million movies in a few years from now.
Lewis, this is
Yes,
Caron.
speak that.
Mm-hmm.
This is Caron. I'd like to know how much time you actually spend training, and what do you do when you're not training?
Well, you put that in a very sweet way.
Why, thank you.
This made me feel very comforting to hear that, actually, the way you presented it, at least. No, I mean, I train a lot. I train 6 days a week. You know what I mean? I do different styles of training, but I enjoy it. It's a stress relief for me. I leave my phone at home or in a locker, and it's kind of like a time of meditation where I get to be just one with me and my body and how I move. And it's a meditative process to me, as well as it helps me let out aggression and get that out. So I'm training a lot. I'm training every day. I'm training a few hours a day. And when I'm not training, I mean, this is a grind. It's a 24/7 job. As soon as I get off the phone now, I'm going to read a script, and I'm going to, I got a meeting at 10 a.m. with some big producers. So that'll be my night. Maybe I'll get to listen to some music, and I've been playing the piano a little bit here and there. So,
I saw that.
Yeah, yeah. Because, I do so much martial arts. My hands are starting to feel just rough and like tight. And I love classical music. I love jazz, blues, and like classical music. So I've been trying to, I don't know, just do something different, do a different exercise. So I've been dabbling in the piano, and it's pretty fun. You saw those videos?
I did. I was very impressed.
Yeah, that was like take number 45.
I did notice your hands, because it does, help to increase your manual dexterity and just kind of get a different kind of circulation going with your hands. But I was really impressed with you having such a short period of time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't have such a beautiful vocabulary as you, but the manual dexterity, that is what I'm trying to do. So for me, my hands just feel tight, and I need to stretch them. But yeah, you nailed it.
Nerds forever.
I love how this hand conversation is going on, by the way.
Right. All about the hands. Yeah. You are always, I do watch your videos and your Instagrams, and you're very strong, you're very graceful, but you're also very positive and very direct. And I love that about you. What do you hope will be your legacy, not just as an artist, but as a man?
Man, you guys are hitting the heavy questions today.
That's what we do.
That's good though. Like, why talk about a bunch of BS, right? I mean, that's a loaded question. I mean, I think that it always changes as I change as a person. Like, I'll look back in 10 years from now, and I'll be like, man, I had different goals. But one of my consistent goals, I want to be someone who's looked at as a leader, who's someone who's a positive influence, just, in general. And then also for men, there's not a lot of influences that I can look at as a man and be like, this person is cool. Like, this person influences me. You know what I mean? There's very few of those guys out there today that are older. And I think that that's important to have those type of role models. So if I can help and inspire other people, then that will make me feel good. If I can be a loving person and just understand life better as I grow older, that'll make me happy. Things like that make me happy. I want to have a family one day. So that would be my man legacy. As far as my work legacy, I'd like to take it to the top. I have no plan B. Like I tell everybody,
I love that.
They always make fun of me about that, but that's like my motto. I have
Yeah.
no plan B. It distracts from plan A. I think Will Smith
That's
actually
right.
once
That's
said
right.
that. Yeah, I think Will Smith said that years ago, and I was like, dude, that's it. Like I connect with that so much, and yeah, I want to take it to the highest level, and eventually want to direct my own movies, direct my own movies, and act at the same time, and just tell good stories that help people.
I'll be watching, and not in the stalkery kind of way, but in a loving way.
I appreciate that. I'm feeling the love from you guys, and I do appreciate that. I think it's amazing, and I'm so actually overwhelmed that you guys support and stand up for the Asian American community, and not just me, but the whole community in general. Thank you guys so much. That's amazing.
Damn right. Yeah. Well, Louis, thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to have talked to you today. And
I thought we were going to talk about Oscars.
Oh, yes.
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Let's get into
I
it.
want to hear. I want to hear Oscar choices from you guys real quick, because I've talked a lot. Let me hear some Oscar choices from you guys. Is that okay?
Of
white
course.
people, a sprinkle of black, and white people.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my God.
A sprinkle of color.
I read something today that they were saying that the girl who did the sound editing for La La Land is Asian, right? And if she wins, she'll be the first Asian woman to ever win, or something like that.
What?
I don't know how
Really?
factual that is.
did not
like I
know
said,
that.
I read it online, so it could be a lie, it could be false, but that's what
I'm
I
gonna
read.
root for her then. I'm gonna root for. That's the only
I
one
mean,
for
I-
La La Land I will root for.
And it's sad,
Sound
but
editing.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's true, just because, you don't hear about Asian American actors or directors or folks that are in the crew positions being nominated for these kinds of roles. So, I mean, I hope that's not true, but sadly, that wouldn't be surprising.
No, I mean, thank God there's more from the amazing artists in the Black community this time around, but still,
yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, but still, what about all these other years? And then, don't even get me started about the Asian Americans, because we're not even there. We've never even been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it from my street. I've seen the Oscars from my street, but where are we at? I mean,
Right.
that's
Dev
crazy. to
Patel
me.
with Lion, I think.
With Lion.
That's about
Yeah,
it.
and that's
Yeah.
about it. Just Dev, yeah.
That's dope. Dev is dope, and I hope that I hope he gets his respects. I saw Lion. That was a moving film, but it's about time. There's too many good artists now to be ignored. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not even like a race thing, because people are like, oh, it's a race thing. It's like, no, it's not a race thing if you look at the work. Look at the
Right.
work.
Just look
Is
at
it
the
good?
work.
Look at the work. Is it
Yeah.
is it good work? Okay, then give it its due. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and something that's just new and refreshing and not the same
Right.
cliche carbon copy stuff that we see all the time. I mean, La La Land, for the most part, people thought it was a really good film. Other people, not so good. But it's a movie about Hollywood, and how many times have we seen that over and over again at the Oscars? Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are copying the same type of formulas, but a lot of times they're missing out too, though. You see them go bust at the box office. Look at what happened with the Matt Damon film. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know it still made its money, and they still got a little bit of money back here and there. But when I'm reading reviews saying it's a bust at the American domestic market, I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, well, maybe someone's listening now. Maybe they go, oh, that's not what we want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I think
I'm not
people
trying to
didn't-
just pick on that film, but it's just
There's so much there, though.
yeah.
And people
It's
are tired
honestly, I
of
don't
seeing
think-
whitewashing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, I think people also didn't see it because Matt Damon's ponytail was really tragic in that cover. Y'all have seen that ponytail. It was rough. It was really bad.
Well, I'll say this: it's a new frontier right now, because the Chinese box office is killing it. So all these amazing movies are going over to China, and they're making a ton of money. So studios are going, oh wow, the Chinese market is beating the domestic market, and they're actually funding all the, you know, they're paying for the movies back. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like 75 million, 100 million, 150 million just in China alone. I mean, that's all the studios really care about. They just care about, you know, how their film is doing and the money. So now that is actually a reality, maybe they'll go, maybe these people, maybe these Chinese people want to see, I don't know, Chinese people.
Right. Like maybe they want to see themselves represented on screen.
Yeah, like maybe they want to see themselves there. Like maybe we should do that now that they're paying for all these movies. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting that they haven't thought about that yet.
Well, I think they are.
Waited until, well, yeah, because of money now, but I mean,
exactly.
This should have been happening years ago.
Mm-hmm.
End of the day, that's what it is. But it's all good, baby. It's all good. We're here.
Say that one more time.
I said it's all good, baby. We're not going anywhere. You know? We're not going anywhere. We're here, and we're gonna keep doing our thing. Am I right?
Yep.
Yes,
absolutely.
Damn right.
Fighting the good fight every day. And we look forward to seeing you in more films and more TV properties and being able to see the work that you're creating. I really hope to see more of that. And I really hope to see you in person, hopefully at Universal Fan Con, because we want you as a special guest.
I keep hearing about this Universal Fan Con thing. Well, you know what? Like I told them, if I'm available during that time, I'll be there. Okay. But April's a hard time because February and March is when they're doing a lot of the casting right now. Like I'm busy every day, so something's gonna connect, and it's most likely gonna shoot end of March during April. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if I can make it, I would love to go because I mean, it looks crazy. And I have no idea. I've never been to any of those type of things before, so I would love to.
Oh, you'll be going to a lot soon.
I'm ready to go and just hang out, though. I just want to go. You know, I'll do a panel or whatever, but I just want to hang out with everybody and just like talk about, you know, nerdy shit and movies. That's what I want to do. So.
Nice.
Well, you're our kind of guy.
You're our kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Louis, again, for coming on our show. And please let our listeners know where they can find you on the interwebs and give out your social media handles.
All right. Well, my phone number is... No. So...
We'll take that,
too. So, yeah, you can get... if you want to check me out on Instagram, it's Louis Tan Official. That's just pictures, obviously. Twitter is Louis Tan. And that's where you can find me. If not, you can catch me on the Netflix Marvel's Iron Fist show, kicking ass, taking names, and beating people up.
Yes.
Black girl nerds run the world, man. And I'm like so grateful that you guys had me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Louis. This is great.
Thanks. It was.
Jason Mitchell has had roles in films such as Contraband and Broken City. In 2015, Mitchell played Compton rapper Eazy-E in the biopic Straight Outta Compton, with his performance being met with significant praise by critics. In 2016, he appeared in Keanu, alongside with Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Currently, you can find him in the film Kong, Skull Island, where he plays Glenn Mill, alongside a large superstar ensemble cast that includes Tom Hiddleston, Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, Brie Larson, and Corey Hawkins. Take a listen.
Hey guys, this is Caron with the Black Girl Nerds podcast. Many of us have come to know Jason Mitchell from his breakout role as rapper Eazy-E in the biopic Straight Outta Compton. His performance was remarkable and met with critical acclaim in his portrayal of the legendary rapper. Now Jason not only takes on a new role, but a whole new world in Kong, Skull Island. Jason, welcome to the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, I'm going to get my fangirl moment because I'm a black girl and I'm a nerd. Sir.
All right.
You as Eazy-E brought me to tears. I grew up when they did, and hip-hop is my hood, so it is an absolute pleasure to have this time with you. You are just dope.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You got me blushing right now.
I'm full of gratitude for that performance and for you being here.
Oh, man, thank you.
So to say this is just another film is pretty much a gross understatement. King Kong is one of the most legendary monsters in our cinematic history and has been a pop culture phenomenon since the 30s. And you play Glenn Mill. Who is he in this uncharted world?
He is very much with the outside world would be in a situation dealing with Kong, because I am a well-decorated Sky Devil, which is a helicopter pilot that just left the Vietnam War. And we get this mission to, go to this island that's never been touched or anything like that. And I think it's a bad idea altogether. Like, I don't think we should be doing this. Maybe it's because I'm me or I'm black. I don't know. But I feel like after you survive a war, maybe you should go home.
So, yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of my character. He never is happy about going to the island, being there, and after he sees Kong, he can't stress how much they should leave. So yeah. He's a cool dude though. Somewhat of a comedic relief, but a very human piece of the pie.
One of the most remarkable things about Kong is that his image, his presence, and so much that there've been so many reiterations of King Kong throughout the years, but the biggest connection is that human connection, the parts of Kong that are human-like versus the monster. What do you say about that fight about nature versus nurture and how we treat creatures that we may not understand?
I think that there's something very powerful said in the movie by Shea Wiggum where he says sometimes you don't have an enemy unless you go looking for one. And I think that people are afraid of change. People are afraid of things that are out of the norm, especially when you can't talk to it or you can't ask it how it feels or anything like that. But I think what makes this film so special is the fact that for once you don't find a Kong that cares about that type of thing. You know what I mean? He's the top of the food chain and you have to respect him as that. You know what I mean? And I think that's really, really dope because he doesn't have a negotiating type of attitude, It's either you handle things the way they're supposed to be handled or it's going to be a very bad situation, So that's really cool, that we have that in our film.
Now, this film was remarkably shot across 3 continents, and this time, Kong doesn't come to us. We don't bring him here. We go to Kong. So what exactly is Skull Island?
Skull Island is an untouched, unmonitored place. Well, this unmonitored island that has not yet been discovered, but houses a world of monsters, a place that the rest of the world would be if it hadn't touched modern day technology, so to speak. So you go there and you see these mixtures of Vietnam and Australia and Hawaii that we've, turned into this very spectacular but very eerie island. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it could be real. You know what I mean? And it's so dope because we weren't just bound by green screen and all these different things.
Yes.
We actually got to go to some very beautiful places.
That was remarkable.
It was crazy. Like places that really, I remember one day on set where we had to take 3 boat rides. Like we had to change boats 3 times in order just to get to set. You know what I mean? Like that's how untouched some of the places we were going were, and that's very, very, very special.
Now, the film tells this story is a new story of Kong, and it tells the story of man versus nature and the nature fighting for its own survival. How is this battle treated differently than what we've seen before in films or stories about Kong?
Well, I mean, for one, like everybody views Kong as the king, but the king of what? You know what I mean? For once, you get to see Kong in his element. You know what I mean? Instead of Kong being the one flashing out and being very upset that he's not in his own territory, he's protecting what's his. You know what I mean? He's the judge. He's the god of the island, and it's so cool to see him not afraid. You know what I mean? And just very much in his own element, and it's like it scares the hell out of you. It scares the hell out of you.
It's equally beautiful and stunning as it is terrifying. But where are you from?
I'm actually from New Orleans. I'll be working on my accent a little bit so people can
It's sneaking out a little bit here and there. I can hear it just a little bit. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a proud Holly Grove representative. Me and Lil Wayne from the same neighborhood. So apparently we breed them.
Lots of great talent coming out of New Orleans. Now, This is Black Girl Nerds, and I wouldn't be who I am, and this wouldn't be what it is if I didn't ask you about your nerd behavior. Where does your geek go?
My geek normally goes to, because I'm a music lover. You know what I mean? And I really, really, really love music. But sometimes I really nerd out and, listen to things that people be like, what is happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll go 21 Pilots on you in a minute.
I hear you.
Okay, I guess. We didn't see this coming, but I guess, But yeah, that's my nerd most of the time. You know what I mean? I'm that guy.
Now, you've had a chance to work with some really incredible artists, but this movie is a ridiculous ensemble cast. What was it like on set for you? It was ridiculous. You got so many of our great American loves of theater, film, and television. It is insane.
Right. To be honest, when they told me what the film was, obviously Kong Skull Island, and they told me it was a prequel, and then they told me the cast, who they had casted already at the time. I didn't even have to read the script. I don't even care. This movie could suck. It is impossible for it to be bad with these people in it. You know what I mean? This is never ever gonna happen again. Talk about the perfect storm. I can't even begin to say how I felt when I met some of these people. But they're such veterans that they know how to break the ice so well. You know what I mean? Sam Jackson, John Goodman, John C. Reilly, they already knew that, people were going to be in complete awe of them anyway. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't know what to say and things like that. So they're very good with breaking the ice. I believe my first conversation with every one of them was a conversation that they started. You know what I mean? Which made me look at them totally different. You know what I mean? Some people say, don't meet your heroes, you're going to be disappointed. That's BS. You know what I mean? These people are the real deal. And on and off camera, they're great people.
Now, this is Black Girl Nerds, and we are not all black, and we are not all girls. And we've seen a lot lately about Black Boy Joy, about the camaraderie amongst our men, our young men. Do you have a word, a positive word, or something to contribute to our young women and our young men who are out there who maybe aspire to the heights of Kong, if you will? Or
Right. I dig it. Well, I look at it like this. I look at it like, energy is a big thing. And whatever you put out, you definitely will get back. You know what I mean? So, so many people, I don't want to say they hate on each other, but they don't challenge each other to bring out the best in each other, and as young people, especially as black people, you know what I mean? We have to make a stand for ourselves, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we have to be able to come together and let each one teach one, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And let all the heads come together and make that become something great, because it's crazy as it sounds, when people are like, oh, together we stand and divided we fall, it sounds crazy, you know what I mean, until you're that lonely finger, you know what I mean? But in order to be a fist, it got to be like a handful of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely think that, like, I feel like dreams are for sleepers. If you should plan, you know what I mean? Just try to plan something. Try to execute something. Try to start somewhere and finish somewhere else, you know, and bring some good people along with you. You never know what could come from it.
Well, I, for one, am excited that you're here. I'm excited about this film and what it's about to do to my psyche, because I don't think I'm ready. I don't think the world is ready. The visuals are terrifying and gorgeous simultaneously. So I just want you to know how much we appreciate you and your work, and to thank you once again for being here. Where can we find you online?
You can find me online at Jason Mitchell Actor is my Instagram, and that's where I'm mostly there myself. Jason Mitch on Twitter, and just regular old Jason Mitchell on Facebook. But I'm pretty active. I'm Mr. Jason Mitchell on Snapchat. I'm pretty active. You know, I try to mingle with the fans as much as possible. You know what I mean? And let them know that all this is tangible.
Well, as we swoon, we will be clicking and snapping in your favor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
TV One premieres Media, a new movie from the mind of Radio One's own media maven, Cathy Hughes, and the creator of New York Undercover, about the cutthroat world of major entertainment business. This heart-pounding drama looks at the Jones family, who run the multifaceted Jump Company. And like any big company, nothing comes easy or without drama. The following segment features actresses Penny Johnson Jerald, Chrystee Pharris, and Jillian Reeves.
Hey guys, welcome to the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. This is your girl, Caron, and I have a question for you. What do you get when you combine the world's premier urban media conglomerate and a family of power? You get peak blackness and a new show called Media, coming soon to TV One. Executive produced by the one and only Cathy Hughes, Media tells the tale of wealth, betrayal, intrigue, and ambition, and today we have not one, but three of its loveliest stars. Please welcome Penny Johnson Jerald, Chrystee Pharris, and Jillian Reeves to the Black Girl Nerds Podcast. Welcome, ladies.
Hey, hi. How you doing?
Great. I'm going to start with Chris. This show is so beautiful, and it's so black through and through. So many of you are our favorites from television and film from everywhere. What was it like on set working with so many of what I consider our national treasures?
Well, I mean, what a joy to be able to work with people that I've watched on TV for years. You know, the people that I've admired, and then watching them on set, it brought my A game up. You know, because there's a scene in there that I do with Penny, who plays my mom, and I do something that, you know, black families, you know, you're gonna get your face slapped if you do this particular thing, and we're all challenging one another, and I just wanted to make sure, because I know she's a beast on television and film and all of that. I wanted to be a beast with her. You know, so it made me step up my A game. I'm just so excited to be a part of it. I feel so blessed.
What was the most significant thing about working on a project like this with with this kind of an ensemble cast?
You know, I've worked on so many different TV shows. To be able to work on a show like this with so many wonderful, incredible actors, and to be able to be on an African American show, it brings a different energy that I've never experienced before. It really is a family. It's really a lot of love. I don't have to censor myself. I can really just be me the whole entire time, and that, for me, is a blessing.
Penny, I'd like to talk to you for a moment. There's been a lot of controversy about the kinds of roles. Well, before I get started, Penny, I just have to tell you how huge of a fan I am of yours. I adore you, and every time I see your name somewhere, I am soon to follow. You will always be Mrs. Palmer to me, but I love your work so much.
Okay, now you can be my child as well.
I would love to be your child. You have done such an incredible work, and you have such an incredible body of work. there's been a lot of controversy about the kinds of roles that are available for people of color and especially women. Do you think we will ever get a break when it comes to appreciating work for entertainment value versus those voices who say it's not an accurate betrayal or positive betrayal of Black life? Or does it even need to be?
I think that we are on the verge of breaking, and I think that you can tune in on television, and what you see right now are quite a few African-American females leading series. You have Kerry Washington leading a series. You have Viola Davis leading a series. You have Taraji P. Henson leading a series. So I think we are at the opening. If I could give the analogy of a birthing, I think the water broke, and now it's about birthing. It's about birthing all of these projects with some fabulous actors who have just been in the waiting to be able to sink their teeth into material. It's not lack of material, it's lack of produced material or material that's been greenlit. But I think that we're on the verge of something beautiful, something groundbreaking, and I would like to believe that media is going to be right in line with the opportunity of not just the African-American females, but African-American males, and we, as quiet as it's kept, we have a bit of diversity inside of the cast as well. Mm-hmm. We have wonderful players on the peripheral who bring such life to the project so that it is real life. I mean, it's not just the black and white world, but we just happen to be the lead family in this particular series.
I have to say that you look like big black money. You are gorgeous. You look fantastic, and you've been in the industry for a very long time. What has been the most encouraging thing about these difficult times that we live in for you concerning the arts?
Well, when I graduated college, and there were a bunch of agents out there ready to sign you up and, grab you up because you come from some fabulous school, that I thought for a moment, I don't want someone to grab me up so that I can be a star. I want longevity. And I said, that story to say this. I think the key to longevity in doing this is to have a strong foundation. I borrow from my Christian foundation because that's the strongest that I know. Family first, then career. So I feel that I have a support system that is dynamic and that nothing can break me down because I always have that to fall back on. And not only that, I happen to just be a real person with real issues and real situations that I tend to when I'm not working.
Jillian, this next one is for you. TV One has done some really impressive things with their television programming, but your character in this story gave me pause. What was it like to stretch out a bit and take this kind of a risk for a role? Because your character is in the worst possible position for a woman I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was really I personally felt grateful to be able to give her a voice. It was definitely a very vulnerable position, even for me as an actress, which I think was a good thing because I think she was in a very vulnerable position. We had a wonderful director, Craig Ross Jr., who I had worked with before and I just completely trust. And that made it, 10 times better than just trying to navigate it on my own, you know what I mean, in terms of, what I was doing, if it was registering, how big it was, so I just tried to stay really grounded, and he was wonderful at orchestrating and kind of guiding through that. But it was, it was good. It was fun. And like you were saying earlier, it is one of those roles that, has so many sides and is really something that you can kind of sink your teeth into and actually work at and get your emotional life going and do the acting work that sometimes, if you're in a more straight procedural or just kind of, the straight man. You don't get to do those things. So it was really rich. It was sort of an actor's dream to be able to do that. So I'm grateful that I was, given that opportunity to really bring Giselle life.
How did you get involved with this project?
I actually came on a little bit later. By the time I came on, I think I had worked with Craig Ross Jr. On a pilot about 6 months or before this project came up, and so I was contacted by Twinkie Bird, the casting director, and I sent in a tape, and then I went down to Atlanta, and I think I was shooting within that week. I think I went to Atlanta on like a Saturday and booked it on Monday, and we were shooting on Friday or something. So it was a very quick turnaround for me.
Chrystee, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
You play the daughter of the matriarch in the family, but you were the only woman and the only other woman in the family. Have you experienced the kind of exclusion of being the only girl in a family that expects more of its men?
Oh, yeah. I actually have 4 brothers.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, ironically, I could relate to some of the storylines dealing with all of the different personalities of all of the men on the show, and dealing with my brothers, which I really have, a close relationship with them. One thing that I love about media as an actor, my family was very separated. My parents were divorced, and I lived with one of my brothers, but even everybody was kind of separated. My mom worked late hours. I was always, doing plays, and my brother was doing his own thing. So what I loved and what I drew from about media was the family coming together and looking out for one another. And I think for me, it was great to be able to play that role and to be in that energy and atmosphere, because that's what I've always wanted in my life. So I got to live out that experience while I was doing this movie, and I think that's why I love media, and I hope that other families and other people who watch it, they get out of it, even if they did come from a broken home. I pray that they will see this and want to change and want to do something completely different by sticking together, looking out for one another, supporting them. Even when things are going wrong, everybody comes together and supports. And that's what I got out of working with media. But yeah, I can definitely relate to being the only female in the midst of men.
Penny, this next question is for you. You play with Jackie Jones, the matriarch of the family, who built this company from a small magazine to a huge conglomerate. So right now we're in Black History Month, just on the cusp of Women's History Month, and this production was executive produced by Kathy Hughes, who is a legend. And I just discovered you and I are homegirls. I'm from Baltimore as well. But what do you have to say as far as the contributions of women in media, and do you have an opinion on our representation?
Well, first of all, you're brilliant because you are from Baltimore.
Yes! yes.
There's a lot of talent from Baltimore. From
yes,
Maryland.
indeed.
And Kathy Hughes is one of those people,
yes,
too,
she is.
and she should be highly celebrated. So I actually would start right there with Miss Hughes, who had a dream, a vision, and she was relentless in her quest to see it come into fruition. She gave up things. She made sacrifices. She was out there, on her own. She shared a story with me. I don't really like sharing other people's stories because I like them to be able to do it themselves. But she did share this one story briefly that I'll just share with you, where she was trying to get money to support this dream of hers, and everyone turned her down.
Mm-hmm.
And 50-something people later, someone said yes. And so I think that's what we have to draw on. We have to draw on not accepting no. And that's what women, the strong women who are in media, I strongly believe that's what they draw on. You don't hear the word no. You hear until then. Let me do this until then. It's never going to be no, because we need women in media. We need women in media like we need women to birth the baby so that we have what we call humankind. Women are excellent communicators. Women are multitaskers. Women are able to impart knowledge. They start that from weaning their babies. So I think that media is very rich in that. It is supportive of Black women. It's supportive of women. This woman is raising these children after the death of a husband. So I think it's inspiring to single mothers to know that it's not the end, that you can raise brilliant kings and queens by yourself. You can plant that seed, and that seed doesn't die. And I certainly hope I answered your question, because I am not personally involved with anyone in the media apart from those who interview myself or if I'm watching CNN. So I don't have the personal hands-on answer for that. But I can certainly tell you that my experience indirectly is that imparting knowledge and being able to share that and to educate is a beautiful thing.
You actually did answer my question brilliantly, because Kathy Hughes, if you're from Maryland, you know who Kathy Hughes is. If you're in media at all, you should know Kathy Hughes. If you don't, I remember the stories of her sleeping on the floor of her radio station to keep it alive. And for anyone within the sound of my voice ever heard the term quiet storm, that's where it came from. Kathy Hughes created that format.
I grew up on Quiet Storm.
Yes.
And I didn't know that was Kathy Hughes. And so that's a big for myself, which, it's something that I can say, and I can only say that without feeling really bad about it. It's because now I really know. And not only do I know, I care to share that, because I want other people to know, because I want the young Penny Johnson Jeralds and the young Chrystee Pharrises and the young Jillian Reeves. I want those young women to know that they can aspire to be almost anything they truly wish. And it just takes a seed of determination and a dream.
I so agree. Jillian, I'm coming over to you next. You have quite a bit on the table, and I know you also come from theater as well. What's the biggest difference between working on a television project, working in theater, or working in film?
I think one of the biggest differences for me is in December we had our first kind of cast screening. Kathy Hughes was kind enough to bring all the cast together, and we all watched the film together, because I actually hadn't had the pleasure of meeting Penny or pretty much most of the Jones family. I shot for the first 2 weeks, and then their family stuff was sort of the last portion of shooting. So most of my work was with Gare, Jordan,
who I love,
Stephen Bishop, and Jimmy Gonzalez, who was great, and Chrystee Pharris. So one of the biggest differences is not having the rehearsal process in the theater, and really, getting to know everyone and doing that production day in, day out, all the intricacies and being a part of the whole show is just a very different thing than kind of doing your part and not having any idea what it's going to end up after everybody does their collaborative part. So theater, the collaborative part is together, and in film, it's piece by piece in collaboration. So, then after the director does his thing and the actors do their thing, which has come after the writers have done their thing, then you have the editors and the composers and all of those wonderful things. And so it's a bit of a surprise to see how it all comes together. And you have cast members that you never met that, and it's been so great to meet them and know them. I mean, it's as we've done this part of the process, the promoting for the show. But I love both. They're both really fulfilling, especially this project. Sometimes, the roles in depending on the role, it can be, more artistic or less. But in this particular situation, both both theater and film have been, are fulfilling this sometimes in different ways.
Chrystee, I know you have to get ready to go, but before you go, I'd love to know what your secret geeky behavior is.
My secret geeky behavior.
Yes, what's your nerd thing?
Something that's nerdy. That's a good question. I mean, I really love sitting down and watching. I really love sitting down and binge watching different TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I just love to sit down and do. But if you want to call like the geeky side of it, I really like doing a lot of research on Black history, on people who are who have been an influence in the African American community over the years. That's usually what I like to do. I like to sit down and do a whole bunch of reading and research and read about, for instance, young lady named, her name is, oh goodness, she was actually a slave. She became, so many people are coming in. Her name is Mary Bowser, and she was a free woman that decided to go into slavery to become a spy at Jefferson Davis's house.
Wow.
And she really helped win the war, and she was passing information over. So there's little things like that I love doing research on and sharing that knowledge so that we know we're not just one note. There's so many of us who are educators, who are politicians, who all the things that we always look at people who are in the entertainment industry or in the television, film, athletes, and so forth. But if you really do your research, you will find out that we are significant, we are amazing people, and we contribute to America in so many different ways. So that's kind of my geeky thing that I like to do.
Penny, I want to ask the same question of you. What is your secret nerd behavior?
Oh, sometimes I wish I was a nerd, and I'd just be funny. I can tell you what I just love doing. I love digging in dirt. Really? Are you a gardener? I have just gotten a manicure. I love being barefoot. I'm a tomboy at heart.
Oh, wow.
I truly love getting dirty. I love doing a job. You see, when I was born, my father was so hoping for a boy. He had a girl first and named her right after him. Then he had me, and he named me right after him. And he gave me a nickname. He called me the King and Boss. And I thought, why did he call me that? Well, now I'm not figuring it out because I'm dang bossy. And I'm just bossy, and I just didn't know that about myself. But that boyish quality, I think that my dad was so wishing before he had my two brothers, Knuckles and Slugger. I think I got a boyish quality about me that when I am not dolled up or doing what it is that I do to make a living, I'm in my gym working out, or I'm digging in my dirt, or I'm at my farm digging in dirt again.
I might really be your child, except for that gym thing. I might be your child for real.
Well, this is a great opportunity for me to plug my workout program, since I do have one.
By all means.
PJJ's 50. Yeah, it's a 50-day workout challenge that I actually developed over the years because parties would be workout parties. So my girlfriends were like, oh gosh, she'll make us work out again. But they come because we'd eat afterwards. But a few years ago, I came off the road only to find that there were a lot of people who had just turned 50 who were dropping dead. And I said, okay, that's it. I will put together all of my programs. I won't do people individually anymore. I'm going to put together one total program, and then I'll present it to the world because enough of this already. And so that's Penny.
Where can we find it?
Pardon?
Where can we find your 50-day workout challenge?
You can look it up on Facebook, PJJ's 50-Day Workout Challenge, and join us. I oftentimes at the end of the year, at the end of the year, I often give challenges, and I work with my fans around the world, and we'll do
challenges in preparation for the holiday and then the new year. And then in May, June, we usually do another big challenge for the body for the summer. But during the course of the year, people contact me and I work them out. I work them out via satellite, or I send them a program and based on their individual makeup. I don't believe in diets, and I don't believe that everyone needs to be skinny winny. I think everyone needs to be the size that they are comfortable with and most healthy with.
And Jillian, what about you? What's your secret nerd behavior? Or is it a secret?
Well, I am kind of a black girl nerd, and I think I probably have always been a little, even in high school, I was in math club and science club, and I was a chemistry major once for a minute. And still, I'm really techie now. I can code a little bit. I can break some algorithms. As anyone has a computer or technical or phone issue, they call me. So I'm techie. I went to, in Vegas, they have the big conference every January with all the new electronics. Like, I'm all over that. That's my thing. I don't even know if I'm a secret. Also, I'm a Trekkie.
Are you?
I love Captain Kirk. Yes,
I heard that.
I just think Captain Kirk was the most beautiful man in the whole wide world.
He was fine.
I used to take things apart when I was young. I used to, we had VHS tapes, and if one would break, I would go and I was young, but I would go and get the screwdriver and take it apart and figure out how to tape it back together and make it work.
Would it work?
I kind of have always taken stuff apart, and sometimes I would take stuff apart and couldn't get it back together. My mother would be very upset. I would take her watches apart, but they fostered that to some degree. So I'm not even a secret black girl nerd. I'm just a black girl nerd.
We like you all out there. We have a beautiful, brilliant audience, and all of us at Black Girl Nerds are not black or girls, so we celebrate brilliance of all women and gentlemen of color. And
oh, beautiful! Absolutely.
The last thing I'd like to do is to give you the floor. I'd like for Penny for you to go first, and then for Jillian to respond in kind. I'd like to give you the floor just to give a word to our brilliant melanated sisters out there, a word of encouragement. You could speak about your upcoming projects or even media, but just have something to contribute to our listeners.
You know what you have just done? You have just given actors the format to just talk for hours to your audience. Oh. You see, a friend of mine gave me this little picture, and it says, actors are adults playing hide and ego seek. So there you go. We could go on and on and on forever. However, I would like to just leave the audience with this. I am so excited about media for so many different reasons, and I would like to believe that's what our audience will be able to receive as well on Saturday, February 25th on TV One. To go away with a sense of pride, a sense of celebrating your blackness, knowing that the sky is the limit, knowing that you can start alone, but you will never end alone, because everyone loves a winner. They will surround you with ideas, and don't be afraid to embrace that, and don't accept no for an answer. I'm also excited that media happens to be on TV One, which is a network that is primarily black. And I'm not saying solely black because it is speckled with different ethnicities inside the outfit. However, it is the brainchild of Miss Kathy Hughes, who is an African-American woman. But because of that, we have to tune in, not just to support media, but to support a network that will be a platform for us to continue telling our stories as we know they should be told.
Thank you. And Jillian, you are up next.
Well, I second everything, of course, that Penny said. And to the women, I also would just say, my experience with media and the character that I play. She's a woman who sort of has run herself and to push herself to the end of her rope. And so, and then we see what the consequences are of that. So I guess I would also just encourage the women listening, since we are often the superheroes, the super moms, the super employees. We are the nurturers. We take so much on, take responsibility for so many other things beyond ourselves, our children, our mothers, our families, that I would just encourage them to also do some self-care, also check in with themselves, take care of themselves, listen to themselves. If they're, a lot of times we get overwhelmed or have all of these different emotions that we don't even acknowledge or deal with because we're so busy dealing with everyone else. And the mental health of our community is a very issue that's very close to my heart. I work with an organization called NAMI that provides all sorts of information for that. Anywhere, just support groups and tips and all of those things. So I am very big on our mental health and our emotional well-being as women, because often we don't look out for ourselves. So I just hope that that would be my biggest advice to them. I hope that when they watch media on February 25th, that they enjoy it, they see some of themselves in all of these different characters, and that it's something that they can enjoy and just have a little getaway from all of our busy lives, that it could provide them with that kind of entertainment that they can just escape into it and enjoy the ride on February 25th.
I, on behalf of Black Girl Nerds, want to thank both of you. But personally, I want you to know how much of an honor and a privilege it is for me to speak with you today, for you to have taken this time for us. I think it's so important that we see ourselves in each other and in our work. And I'm happy to support this project, but I am so excited that I got a chance to speak to all three of you, because that rarely, if ever, happens. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Yes, thank you very much. We're very excited. Thank you for your support, and I will definitely follow you and look forward to seeing all the Black Girl Nerds puts out there too.
The Black Girl Nerds podcast is produced by Jamie Broadnax. Various episodes are edited by Jamie Broadnax, M.R. Daniel, and John Bauer. The opening theme song to our show is written and performed by Samus. Various instrumentals are performed by Samus, Sky Blue, and Shubzilla. You can find episodes of the Black Girl Nerds podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spreaker, and Spotify.
That was a HeadGum podcast.